Bungus, thank you. Give me a bungus, thanks. Bungus, and then, and then another bungus, thanks. Oh, we're getting this pretty early then, I guess. Where is it? There it is. Thank you very much. So now watch and learn. This is how you do it, boys. Here it comes. You want to see some peak engineer gameplay? Here it is. Here it goes. See that? You taking notes? You should be taking notes. This is how it's done. Here comes Mithrix. Here he comes. I refuse to move. I'm not doing it. See, he can't even hit me. It's too complicated for him. He can't do it. Come get me, Mithrix. Come get me. I'm not moving. Just hit me with the hammer. He did the same thing again. You can't figure it out. I'm still not moving. Not moving. Does the shockwave even hit me? It doesn't even hit me. I'm not moving. Oh. Someone needs to... If there's professional Risk of Rain 2 players, I need to be one of them. TSM, sign me. He can't hit me. See, this game's easy. Although I do have to move now because he's going to steal all my items. I had to get closer to him because he nicked all my items, but I'm still not going to move. I have a bubble shield to protect me from that. Oh wait, but the bubble shield runs out, doesn't it? Oh, I'm going to move. Oh, I moved. TSM, cancel your contract. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. Still got to fight this idiot. Oh, he's dead. Oh, that was easy. Okay, well, see you later. This game's easy. Turn the difficulty up, please. I hope I make this jump. Actually, and I don't make this jump, do I? I don't make this jump. That's going to make this take a long while. You know, I actually don't think I make it. I think I'm not going to make it. I'm actually not going to make it. This is it. Look, 5, 4, 3, 2... Well, I'm dead. I'm dead. I've never not made it before. The engineer's biggest enemy is the fact that he's the slowest idiot on the planet. Why is this character so stupid? 2 Risk of Rain 2 videos in a row. Apparently, I'm just addicted to this game. I can't stop playing it, and I can't stop talking about it. So here we go again. The Captain was released with the 1.0 update for Risk of Rain 2, and he instantly became my favourite character in the entire game. His left click's nuts, he has insane damage output, and his crazy utility with his beacons he drops in is really, really fun to use. But there was something that kind of bothered me about him. There was something that got under my skin about the release of this character. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Captain himself. The Captain himself is great. The problem is with this idiot right here. This stupid idiot right here is the problem. Because have any of you noticed that some of the Captain's kit fits super well with the Engineer's kit? 2 of the Captain's abilities are better at being Engineer abilities than the Engineer's abilities are at being Engineer abilities. I'm talking about the beacons and the drone. The beacons act as great utility for him and his entire team, especially the hacking beacon that reduces the cost of chests. The other beacons on the Captain get outclassed a little bit by the hacking beacon, but if you gave the beacons to the Engineer, suddenly that healing beacon isn't looking too bad, is it? If you play in multiplayer with a Captain and an Engineer, taking at least 1 healing beacon is actually a really good idea because it gives the Engineer's turrets so much more survivability to pump out a ton of damage with. But when you're playing Captain in single player, the hacking beacon is the obvious choice that allows you to get through stages quicker. Most players just play 2 hacking beacons. The second and more annoying example is the drones, because the drones seem like they could have just been ripped right out of the Engineer's kit, don't they? They give the player survivability as well as giving turrets and all repaired drones extra survivability too. It's so weird to me that the Captain's passive is actually more fitting for a completely different character than it is for himself. Maybe in its current iteration, if you just gave the Engineer the Captain's current drone, it would probably be too powerful, but you could definitely tone back the attack speed of the drone to make it less OP if you needed to. And all of this got me thinking, is there a way we could rework the Engineer? Now, hang on, I know the single Engineer main on the planet is going to try and find where I live now, but just hear me out for a minute. Because from what I've seen looking through YouTube videos, looking on Discord and browsing through Reddit, it seems like a lot of people find the engineer's playstyle to be fairly boring. And in my personal experience, I would have to agree with that sentiment as well. He is pretty boring. I explained it briefly in my last video, but to paraphrase it, he's boring because his kit incentivizes you to stand still and not actually participate in the combat. You just watch everything die around you for a little while until you go through the teleporter. So is there a way we could rework his kit to keep the flavour of the engineer, but make him more involved in the gameplay than he currently is? Well, I've thought about this a lot, and I have a couple of ideas. So firstly, I want to tackle the engineer's turrets, because they have to stay, right? The turrets are the entire purpose of the character. Getting rid of the turrets is like deleting the engineer from the game. So instead, I propose this. We keep the turrets, and they still inherit all of your items in the exact same way as they currently do, but you can only place one down at a time. The cooldown will be reduced by a bit, and you could still hold multiple turret charges like you can right now, but only one can be alive at any given time. That single turret would also have about 25 to 30% less health than it currently does. All of the same item interactions would work exactly the same as they currently do, but the turrets would be less tanky and more disposable. The idea with this change is to make the sentry more of a disposable source of damage. You throw it down and forget about it while you go and shoot something else. It's like it's watching your back rather than the only source of damage that you have. Think of it a bit like a gunslinger engineer from Team Fortress 2. Your sentries are able to help you in combat, but they're not your only source of damage, and you're going to need to be self-sufficient to an extent to make full use of your kit. But if we're taking power away from the engineer's turrets, we need to give him power somewhere else. So we need to make his basic attack better, because his basic attack is painfully bad. I don't really know what you would give him. Maybe it would be some sort of machine gun, or maybe it's a rifle or something, I don't know. But what I do know is that it needs to be good, and it needs to be a hit scan weapon, and not a projectile weapon. Projectile weapons are harder to aim and are harder to use for consistent damage dealing, and the engineer needs consistent damage dealing to make this idea work, so it would need to fire hit scan bullets and not some sort of bomb or rocket. In my head, his basic attack needs to be on par with maybe the Commandos to make this work. Although it doesn't sit right with me to get rid of his bomb lobber, because it's quite iconic to the character. The Risk of Rain 1 engineer had a very similar attack too, so I don't want to just get rid of it. Instead, I want to make it deal about 4 times the amount of damage it currently does, and put it on a 10-second cooldown and replace one of his other abilities with it. I suggest we replace the mines with the bomb lobber, because the mines seem to be another incentive to just stand still and wait for stuff to die. The unlockable mines aren't as bad because they don't have an arming time, but waiting for mines to arm or not, it's not really what I have in mind. I want the engineer to do something proactive, not bait enemies into mines. With the spider mines, you end up just using them like grenades anyway, so I say we make the bomb lobber occupy this ability slot instead and increase its damage to make it on par with a normal ability. So what do we do with his bubble shield? Well, this one's easy. We just replace it with the other ability that can occupy that slot, the thermal harpoons. It's a damage ability that fits the feel of the engineer, and it doesn't incentivize you to stand still and camp. It's simple, really. So now there's only one thing left. What about all of his unlockable abilities? Well, quite frankly, I think you can just leave them the same and it'd be fine. Having mines be the default part of his kit makes him want to sit around and camp, but having them as an alternative unlockable playstyle sounds fine to me. His unlockable turrets are fine too, because they are mobile turrets. It sort of incentivizes the mobile gameplay. That sounds great to me. Characters like Acrid already have this unlockable playstyle thing going on, because half of their abilities that you unlock incentivize you to be more of a traditional melee character, whereas the normal Acrid has this projectile-based gameplay going on. So I don't see why the engineer couldn't have an unlockable playstyle too. The bubble shield could be the alternate unlock for the missiles instead of the other way around, because like I said, having a campy playstyle as an unlockable alternate strategy is fine by me, so long as it isn't the only way to play the character. Something tells me that this video is going to be controversial, because I know that a lot of people think that the engineer's boring, but I'd imagine that there's also people that really love the engineer. Like 3 people on the planet, probably. There's probably lots of people that also love playing the engineer, not to mention all of the people that don't enjoy engineer but also don't think he should be changed. Feel free to completely destroy me and my opinions in the comments. I just feel that the engineer stands out as the least interesting character among the cast of these really, really cool survivors with interesting kits. Because don't get me wrong, playing the engineer for the first few times is really, really fun. He's so different from all the other characters that he feels fresh and exciting the first time you play him. But I found that the novelty wore off pretty fast when I learned that the optimal strategy was to just stand in some bungus and wait for the enemy to die. If I had the skills to do so, I'd mod my changes into the game and give them a try, but alas, I have absolutely no idea how to do that. So for now, it'll just be a pipe dream that people on the internet are going to be mad at me about for the rest of my life. Thanks for watching.